this is something that happened literally, I guess, when the last podcast came out. And it's not something I would typically talk about, except that this is interesting. But if you didn't know, and this isn't trying to be internet drama, but this is the facts, is that Jirard Khalil does a show called Completionist. Been doing it for 4 years with his partner, Greg. And they put on a good show. And the other reason I'm talking about this is because I was in one of these episodes, so I know these people. I'm acquainted with these people. So they had a falling out a couple weeks ago. Don't want to get into the specific reasons, but it was public on Twitter, and it seems like it was a business decision, but it was not a good breakup. It was not a good breakup, but again, I'm not going to pick sides. That's not why I'm discussing this. What I want to bring up is the fact that we are in a new media now where YouTube or content producers on YouTube have this such a more, I guess, intimate association with their fans that when stuff like this happens, when shows change, when business relationships change, and maybe you won't see someone that you love for 4 years ever again on your show, fans react differently, and because they have direct access to the content producers versus any other medium, versus music, versus movies or television, is there sort of a expectation that is now there where fans either expect to be told the absolute truth, or is there an expectation that they are entitled to something that maybe a fan of a movie franchise or TV franchise or a music group wouldn't necessarily get? That's what's the interesting part, is because you have when the Game Grumps broke up, there was conspiracies because they never said why JonTron left Aaron, what went on. They never really said it. So are the fans entitled to that? I'm throwing that out there because I'm not even sure myself if they're entitled to an explanation.
Here's my opinion. YouTubers rely entirely on their fans for their income. I feel that anyone who is mature should be able to transparently explain what is going on and move on. Mm-hmm. You haven't covered this part yet, and I'll be vague about it. But there was an explanation as to why these two people do not work anymore together. Sure. Mm-hmm. And in the video, it was stated that they were still friends. And it came out afterwards from the other party that was absolutely not the truth. And you have to realize, whether you're the person putting out that video or whatever, that if you're in YouTube, you're connected to social media. You just are. YouTube is, I guess, technically social media. Mm-hmm. The truth is going to come out about that. I think it takes a severe lack of guts to just be truthful about it. I think it takes
a lack of guts to be truthful?
No, it takes a lack of guts to not be truthful about the situation.
Okay.
I think it is very, very shallow and very, very much money-minded and business-minded to try to pretend that everything is hunky-dory when it's not, because it's going to blow up in your face anyways. And I think that makes you a jerk.
Okay, so it seems like you've taken some side there. I will respond with this, playing devil's advocate. These are huge. At this point, this isn't just a hobby for people that do this.
Sure.
Whether it's Game Grumps, whether it's Completion, this is a business. This is a brand that you've built. So, is it to the point now where, here's the thing. This isn't like you're doing a product where it's like Daredevil on Netflix, where you're shooting with a bunch of people. It's a total fantasy world that the viewer is on the outside looking in. They're not connected with it personally. Versus a YouTube series where, hell, the person, the content creator is looking at the audience and is going like, hey guys, we're reviewing this week. So you feel this bond that you wouldn't with this other media. So I'm not sure if there's a right answer to this or not. And I'm trying to sort of search for the answer in my own head, is that is having that sort of brand then incongruous with being entirely truthful when something like this happens, because you have to protect the brand at the end of the day.
I don't
because you have a fan base that is so used to being like feeling friends with you, when in reality maybe at least maybe that it's not really friends. They're not like, oh, we're gonna hang out, but that's how your brand is built, on that association of coming into your living room or bedroom, facing you and saying, this is who I am, these are my videos. It's a very messy thing.
No, it is.
What's interesting is because this is the new media that we're in. This is a problem that only online media producers have. Movie stars aren't to give a shit about stuff like this, or TV stars.
No, they don't, because it's a larger audience, and who the fuck cares what two people think in an audience of millions or billions. Mm-hmm. My problem with this is, well, no, I have a lot of problems with it. I'm not going to get into them, but here's my question then for you. What is more hurtful then, if we have to look at this in terms of fucking brands, which makes me sick, or
but it is a brand though.
Whatever.
You might not like it, but it is.
I understand, but I don't like it. Is it more hurtful to lie and then be exposed, or to just be, we had a disagreement, we're parting ways, he will no longer be on my videos? How fucking hard is that? I mean, really, dude, how I mean, that's not hard. I mean, you're going to have fans who are sad, but now you've got fans who are like, I'll still watch one, and I hope the other does well. Dude, I watch Twitter as this unfolds, and I've never watched an episode of this. And people are like,
you don't watch mine?
But they don't know where to fucking go. They don't know where to fucking go. They don't know who's right. They don't know who's wrong, because no one can be fucking honest about it.
Because the truth is not totally there.
Yes.
And plus, this is the other issue, is that at the end of the day, then, I think when this happens, it's going to be hard. Here's the thing. A lot of these YouTube guys are in their early 20s, mid-20s, or younger. And they may not be able to...
they are.
And there's something to be said for experience of not just friendship. And that's a whole other issue about going into business or going into a partnership with someone you're friends with. But there's something to be said for just, I guess, knowing how to balance, or having the experience to know... This is tough to word. How to balance the friendship with a business relationship without having one swallow the other up, especially having the business relationship swallowing up the friendship. Because now this is happening almost every year, where a huge thing happens when a show just splits.
Sure, it's difficult. I mean, Trey and I, at Luna Video Games, we're really good friends. I consider him one of my best friends. But, separating business from friendship sometimes is very hard. I guess my whole stance on this is there was no reason to lie in that video and say that everything was fine. No reason whatsoever. None.
Unfortunately, though,
I think that's my problem.
But you're looking at it as it being a lie because of what the other party said. So now you have to balance it out. Where, okay, and this is my issue with this.
Well, but no. But the top. I'm not arguing you. What I'm saying is, they said we are friends, and the other person said we are definitely not friends. If the other person is angry and is saying we are definitely not friends, they're not saying that in response to a video that says we are friends. That happened before that video was made.
I think the problem, though, is that you know what messes this all up, and for better or for worse, you have NDAs involved. You have non-disclosure agreements involved with these.
Sure.
That's why you never heard about what happened with the Game Grumps breakup, because they signed these things saying we can't talk about it. And I'm sorry, if you want to... This is the only thing I'll say about this. If you want to pretend to have a brand or association with your fans, you can't hide behind NDAs. You have to be honest with them. If we had a huge falling out, it would be the absolute worst thing for our fans, especially because we are being real here.
Right.
This isn't us putting on a fucking act, Pat the NES Punk or whatever.
Yeah,
show.
No, there's no NDAs between us. If we had a falling out,
you'd hear about it. For better or for worse, you'd hear about it.
Yes.
And then it'd be all the facts or our version of the facts laid on the table, and then you'd let the fans decide without wondering, well, maybe this happened or maybe this happened.
Yes.
And then conjuring up conspiracies in your own head. And you know what I mean? And then having this stuff happen where Ian's forced to tweet out stuff. Well, Pat did this to me. This isn't true. And then you have fans going, well, maybe Ian's just being bitter about it, or maybe he's, you know what I mean? It's just fuck the NDAs is what I'm saying. Let's
Yeah.
just put it all on the table, and your brand may suffer a little bit, but in the end, I think the fans will appreciate it more if you are totally honest and direct with them, and treat them.
I do too.
And treat them like they know, like they can, like they're not children and they can accept the truth.
And I think NDAs are a little fucking pretentious for YouTubers too.
I see why they exist, because there's a lot of money at stake. But at the end of the day, though, I think you have to look behind that, and then plus it's and plus it's like a Band-Aid. You know, like just say it all, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah,
there might be
exactly.
drama. There might be drama for a few days or a week. But at least there's no hidden bullshit anymore. It's not going to come up again when you're at a convention and someone asks you, or in the hallway somewhere. If all the facts are out there and everything knows what's there, then that's what it is.
If a YouTube pair decides to part ways non-amicably, you're looking at 2 to 3 days of potentially nasty tweets from fans, and then things are going to go away because, ooh, shiny, and that's it. I mean, it's not going to last. You're not doing yourself any favors with the NDAs. You're probably doing yourself more harm than good.
So that's all I'm going to say about it. It's very interesting. I don't have a horse in this race. I've worked with both these guys. I know what they contributed to the Castlevania episode we did. So I'm trying to be fair here.
And I've literally never watched an episode. So if it sounds like I'm taking a side, it's only based on what I've perceived
from what you've seen
to be what is the most sensible. What's the most sensible?
And again, if there was an NDA and people were allowed to say it, then you want to do that. You haven't seen my episode still?
Which one?
The one I did with Jirard.
No. I certainly don't watch your episodes with other people.
Fuck me in the ear. We're gonna split up.
Okay.